Hey everyone, today's video is about how to paint the clouds. I painted this painting a while back. In today's video, I'll be focusing on how to paint the clouds rather than the whole painting. I'll be covering the painting of the foliage and the trees in the following video. So let's focus on the sky. I made this charcoal drawing before painting this painting and then fixed it with a fixative. And here I am painting the sky with an ultramarine, which is slightly, unusual because I generally use cobalt blue as for my Indian sky. Now here I'm mostly focusing on, painting the base color with a flat brush and slight amount of oil. I do not use any solvents and just covering the areas. This is not block in, to be quite honest, because it's very haphazard, but if you want to call it the block in stage one, then I think that'll be okay. And I'm just adding some colors here and there and creating some darker patches, and just an indication which part becomes what. And now I have started introducing light with the palette knife to create the impression of the flatness of the sky. And generally, I tend to, create the texture of any surface, and sky is generally quite flat. So a palette knife would be most useful rather than a brush, especially on a wet paint. Now this is a dry filbert brush, and I'm just using it to blur the edges so that it mixes well with the French ultramarine. So we have very light area as well as some darker area, and we are going to use some blending technique here. Now I'm using the same brush with some slight amount of grayish violet to indicate some shadows or shadow parts that are not receiving enough light. So create some points of interest. And here I've started introducing some, stiff white paint with slight amount of yellow perhaps. This is just to indicate how the clouds or particular clouds would look like in this particular painting. So just indicating those with this color. But eventually we will, accentuate the highlights a little more compared to this color. So I'm using all the sides of the brush, and the filbert being slightly rounded. I'm using the fluffiness of the filbert brush, the bristle brush, its quality, the fluffiness, to create the sky. And painting sky is like, um, an abstract expressionist painting almost, because it's the shapes are mostly abstract and random. They are not, very defined. And some parts in the same cloud category, some parts are receiving light, and the some parts of shadow, and some parts are disappearing into the sky color. And also the quality of the fluffiness also can be quite interesting. So this is like an abstract expressionistic painting if you see it that way. And here I'm blending some of the areas that are over defined, but I'm retaining the topmost part, and light is coming from the top left corner. So I'm always keeping that in my mind before making any kind of changes or alterations. So here I'm just using a flat brush which has some violetty color, and putting some violets here and there and blending as well. Now, since the blocking part was absolutely done, here I've started, accentuating the clouds a little bit more, because in this painting, the sky color is more or less done in the beginning. What we need to make realistic, make it look realistic, is the cloud shapes and the highlights, etc. So this is the first stage of modeling, where I'm using a flat brush to create some sort of definition into the clouds. And you can see it's quite a stiff white paint, and I think that I just added slight amount of yellow ochre. I generally do not paint with white paint because it tends to make everything look cooler, because white is actually, bluish in nature, especially titanium white. So I add slight amount of yellow, that is very little. So after creating some sort of definition with a flat brush, now I have moved back to my painting knife, and here I'm using pure titanium white just to create a shimmering effect in the sky, so that there is some contrast between warm and cool. But here, this white color is actually appearing quite shiny and nice. This is the kind of cloud that appears right after the monsoon, and that creates a very shiny, reflective quality into the cloud. So I'm, trying to recreate that here onto my canvas. And I am also heavily thinking here where to put the paint and where not to. Now I'm intending to blend the edges of those paint patches, and I'm using a dagger brush, but it has become like a bright dagger because it has become very short due to over usage. So this is an old brush, but here I will be able to create some marks that are, very, shiny. I mean, super white colors. And also I'm using the same white paint to create some blended effects. Here I'm putting down some paints to create more shiny reflective quality, but also using the same color to blend the right hand side of any cloud shape. And I'm creating some edge work here to create some amount of distinction between the cloud and also the tree. Here obviously you can see the painting is done. So this is the shot of the final painting. Obviously, I did not show the whole process here, focused only on the sky, but in the following video, I'll be able to show you how the trees and the foliage were made. If you like this video, then please click the like button, and also remember to subscribe, and remember to click the bell icon so that you get notified when a new video has been uploaded. If you have any queries, then remember to post them in the comment box. I'll be happy to answer your queries regarding painting. So thanks for your time and take care.